Hello everyone, welcome back to Parallel Rosters, the series in which we take a look at the different franchises inside of Super Smash Bros. And try to present a roster of 9 characters for each of these franchises. This time around, we will be taking a look at the Punch-Out series. But it takes 2 people to have a boxing match, so please give a warm welcome to my sparring partner for this episode, ObeseROB.
Stoked to be on, Axel. Anyone who knows me knows Punch-Out has a special place in my heart, and I couldn't be more thrilled when you asked me to help. But enough stalling. Let's get ready to rumble! For all the hate Little Mac's design philosophy gets, it without a doubt stays true to his character. Punch-Out as a series is all about understanding your opponent and capitalizing on their mistakes. A lot of new players will rush in with Mac, seeing his high damage output, not realizing that just like Punch-Out, one mistake and you're done for. That said, it's not impossible to recover in Punch-Out, and that's one thing I feel could have been better shown in his moveset. Instead of Rising Uppercut, a move with no real reference, Mac's up special could have been Rope Rebound. Mac falls back into the ring ropes, only to rise higher up than before.
The second character is Glass Joe, the failing Frenchman. When it comes to losing, Glass Joe is the cream of the crop, or how they would say it in the country of the rooster, la crème de la crème. He is your first opponent in pretty much every single game, and basically a guaranteed win for every first-time player. One of the only time where he wasn't playable in the main game was for Super Punch-Out for the SNES. There, he was replaced by Gabby J, who is pretty much a copy of Glass Joe, since they are both French and very bad at boxing. So there should totally be a palette swap or an alternate costume of Gabby J for Glass Joe. In Smash, he would most likely just be a joke character, and some of his animations could be him doing something useful by complete accident, a la Luigi.
In all but one Punch-Out game, Ball Bolt is a serious staple, and you'd be hard-pressed to find a more terrifying opponent than the Bull charging at you. On the other hand, face him down, and you'll find yourself overcoming that fear. Ball Bull is fairly well known for being a fighter you can pretty easily take down if you interrupt his most powerful attacks, and I feel that'd translate perfectly to Smash. Give Ball Bull some of the strongest attacks in the game, but with a decent wind-up time in which you can interrupt him, kinda like Ridley's Fire Breath. Only instead of multiplying damage, it multiplies knockback. Throw in a Mask X costume with some grappling moves, and you've got yourself one of the greatest representations an arm wrestling fan can ask for.
The next character is the legendary Doc Louis. Little Mac's iconic cornerman and trusted friend. Nowadays he is a bit out of shape and has retired from professional boxing, but in the past he was a heavyweight world champion. Being Little Mac's coach, we see that he is very knowledgeable on boxing techniques and that he is very observant, because he knows all about their opponent's weaknesses. Doc is also the inventor of the Star Punch, which could be his unique gimmick or a final smash. He would also be able to recover health by eating chocolate, but just be careful not to knock it out of his hands.
Hailing from India, our next boxer is certainly one who will make you see double. Great Tiger is very well known for his most identifiable trait that anyone who's ever seen him will think of immediately. He's a rap god!
Cause I'm the magic man, the great GT. I've got more bling on my head than King Louis.
That and of course his skills in the mystic arts. He'd obviously have the Smash classic of a teleport recovery, but also a float like Peach, using his magic carpet, which would give him the best recovery in the Punch-Out cast, despite having the lightest weight. If it's at all possible, a way to implement his magic doubles would also probably work as a temporary buff, to make his attacks hit twice, much like Arsene.
The next character is obviously going to be Donkey Kong, the big-time boxer from the jungle. Okay, no, really, it's King Hippo. A heavyweight by every stretch of the imagination, King Hippo would be a true tank capable of taking and dishing out powerful hits. It wouldn't be hard to imagine the king having super armor on a lot of his attacks. For his down B, he could put the manhole cover on his belly and that would completely protect him from a frontal attack, whilst leaving him vulnerable from the back. To represent the fact that in the Punch-Out series he can never get back up after being knocked down once, he should probably have an even worse recovery than Little Max.
In the red corner, weighing at approximately 284 pounds and a staggering 6'5", it's Mr. Sandman! Having been the final challenge of the first and last Punch-Out series entries, Mr. Sandman goes all out to the start, but if a challenger were to stall him out, he's sure to tire. But there'll be no winning by judgment here, folks, just like there'll be no judgment by Iron Mike's attorneys. When he's tired out, be sure to go for the knockout, and maybe you will be our next champ.
Next up, we have Aaron Ryan. The deranged psychotic cheater is probably one of the most unique characters of this roster because of his complete disrespect of the rules of the sport that he plays. His cheating tactics include using headbutts and elbow strikes, loading his boxing gloves with horseshoes to increase his damage output, incessantly taunting his opponents, and the creation of a makeshift weapon using an old glove and a rope to create a flail. Back in the SNES days, he wasn't cheating like he does in the Wii game, but he was still a very tricky fighter that liked to stay out of his opponent's reach and also use grabs as a defensive technique, which is called clinching. All of this makes for a very versatile moveset that would work perfectly for Smash. He could also have a feather recovery using his flail, which would automatically make him have one of the best recovery out of all the fighters mentioned in this roster.
Our final challenger for the night. Disco Kid loves to show off out of the ring and in. Light on his feet but sluggish in his punches, Disco Kid loves to throw his all into his attack, but should his attacks hit, he can easily convert them into more and more blows. His attacks aren't particularly strong, but let him hit you over and over again, and you'll be in knockout range before you know it.
So, our final roster is Little Mac, Glass Joe, Bald Bull, Doc Lewis, Great Tiger, King Hippo, Mr. Sandman, Aaron Ryan, and Disco Kid.
For our honorable mentions, Kid Quick is a recurring boxer from the first game, but was essentially replaced by Disco Kid in the Wii game. Pizza Pasta. Just gonna let that one sit. And Bear Hugger. He would bring the grappler archetype while also being a heavy, which is surprisingly uncommon in Smash. Punch-Out is a series the world has given up on. While it remains in culture, just sitting off to the side, Punch-Out hasn't been seen in the public eye since 2009. But even Little Mac was told to quit, to leave boxing in his past. It wasn't until someone saw something in Mac that began the most legendary run boxing has ever seen. And then he did it again. Little Mac was one of the most requested characters in the West to enter Smash. And he made it. It may have been 14 years since Punch-Out's last game, but the series lives on through Smash, and maybe, just maybe, Smash is the one to see something in Punch-Out.
Well, on that inspiring note, I wanted to thank you once again for joining me on this episode. You've been a very big inspiration and a great friend to me. So please everyone go check out ObeseROB's channel. If you enjoy parallel rosters, you're gonna love his content because he is one of the most knowledgeable and well-researched Smash content creator out there. Also, I wanted to take a little bit of time to say thank you to everyone who checked out the last episode of Parallel Rosters. Even if I try to not focus on numbers too much, it still feels very validating to see something I made do so well, especially for Parallel Rosters, since it's what I started my channel with, so it holds a special place in my heart. Hopefully it's a sign of things to come and not just a lucky one-time thing, but regardless, I appreciate every single one of you who is taking that journey with me. Okay, bye.